This conference will now be recorded.
Do we have any other distinguished guests here that we need to introduce? Diana, anybody around we need to recognize?
Fire chief, have you not yet, is this a new fire chief?
New fire chief.
Yes, how are you?
Hey.
Nice to meet all of
Nice to
you.
meet
I
you.
I don't have anything on the agenda, but I wanted to stop by and just introduce myself. My name is Rob Clemens, and I've been fire chief now for almost 6 months, which is hard to believe, and 6 months has gone by that quickly. I'm from Northern Virginia area. I've been in fire service for almost 40 years, and I feel very fortunate that in retirement, I found the Surfside Creek Fire Department and had the opportunity presented himself to me as the fire chief here. And I cannot tell you how happy I am and really honored and proud to be able to serve the community, the town of Surfside Beach. So it's been an education. I'm still learning a lot. Chief Altman and really all the staff of Diana here in the town has really kind of taken me under the wing and taught me the ways of the town here and all that. And I still try to navigate through that. Atax is something different, for me on the funding mechanism and all of that. So I'm still learning a lot, but we're trying to progress the fire department into becoming a fire department that, quite frankly, is into the 21st century with some staffing and some equipment and some things like that. Have a lot of support from the champion, and we're just continually trying to build that fire department into the best it possibly can be, providing highest level service. So I appreciate the opportunity. I know I'll be seeing all of you, as my seniors continue here at the college. So thank you very much.
Great.
Socially, I hope.
What's that?
Socially and not just coming to my house.
Yeah. More social than just coming to your house.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome, Chief. We're glad to have you. Welcome to Surfside. If we can ever help you in any way, feel free to contact the committee, and we'll be glad to consider any thing that you'd like to put before us as far as funding is concerned. We appreciate you not asking for anything today, though. Okay. We have had this, the minutes submitted to each of the committee members. I assume you've had time to review those. I will ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion to approve, second. Second. Have a second. Any additions, deletions, discussion? Hearing none, all approved, or all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll move forward to public comments. Are there any public comments? Hearing none, we'll move forward with the agenda. The first item on the agenda is communications of Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce. We have with us Karen Reardon, who's in charge of the Chamber of Commerce up there and does a wonderful job. Also, Jimmy Gray's here with us, also sitting right over there, who's in charge of the governmental affairs up there. Karen, welcome back again to Surfside. We're glad to have you here, and we'll look forward to your presentation.
I'm going to take this off so I'm not so muffled.
Yeah, Karen, if it's okay with you too, you can give us the 21 and the 22 together, and we're going to package those and vote on those
Absolutely.
together.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I hope you'll be pleased. There's a lot of good news to share at Surfside Beach because 2021 and if we go to 2022, pretty extraordinary year as it relates to tourism. The first thing I just want to share is our main website is visitmyrtlebeach.com. However, there is a Surfside Beach homepage feature, which has been prominently displayed. And I'm happy to report that we had over 8.5 million site visitors in 2021. And our homepage alone had 1.3 million page views. And of course, people jump off to look at accommodations, to look at retail, to look at restaurants, and other fun things to do. So excited to see that, continued great interest in 2021 for the entire brand strand. In terms of web content, again, there's a neighborhood page and a video that's specific to Surfside Beach. We have 106, 203 page views in 2021 related to those pages, events, listings, and blog material. So again, just really trying to showcase great places to eat, events, different things, so that people can get a little taste of what it would be like to visit if this will be their first time coming to Surfside Beach. Again, this is a metrics for our visitsurfsidebeach.com. A couple of really interesting things here. I won't go through them all, but you see 2021 and 2020 is in orange. So 2021, we had a lot of things that exceeded. Not that surprising given that 2020 was sort of our first COVID year, and we did have a lot of business disruption. And fortunately for the Grand Strand, we did not have nearly as much business disruption in 21. So you see that sessions were up 36%. The number of users who actually came to the site up 35%. Page views up 38%. And then again, their time, they're basically spending about, an increase from 3.54%. But about a minute and a half on the site before they jump off, which is what we want them to do. We want to have them jump off to a business listing to then actually go investigate. But again, seeing on average 1.32 pages. Bounce rate is actually a good thing. You want to see that constantly stay low. And then again, new sessions. So overall, we're happy with the web metrics. We are actually in 2022 doing a complete overhaul of the visitmyrtlebeach.com site, including visitsurfsidebeach.com. We're in the RFP stage for that now, and then we'll commence looking at that. We want to make the website even more powerful, put more content, more blogs, and more things to keep people there. Videos is something we've moved into very, very aggressively in the last 2 years. So we have a number of different videos, Beyond the Beach, Surfside Beach, a lot of sensory-friendly videos, scenes from Surfside Beach, included in other content. So again, you see there's a YouTube link here that will bring you to all the different video content that we do have, but over 35 hours of content watched on the site specific to Surfside Beach. So really happy with that. That's definitely where people want to be, is watching these videos. We are still doing some more traditional things like email marketing. They still work. So over 9 e-newsletters, as we call them, featuring the Beach House Vacation giveaway and Surfside Beach Barbecue Festival. Just a lot of different things that you have all going on here, and we'd like to try to stay close to all of that and promoting that before the event, during the event, and then post-event to be showing people out happily enjoying that event. So the Beach House Vacation giveaway email ran in December of 2020 into the winter of 2021 and ended up in February. And each year we rotate what that Beach House giveaway is going to be. Last year it was Sunkist in Surfside Beach. So again, great exposure for Surfside overall. And for that particular property, and as you can imagine, you know, a lot of people in December are getting away and coming to Surfside. So we're really happy with how that went overall. So instead, we had about 3 months to market that. We've marketed to families in 31 different markets. We used digital media, social media, email, and public relations to get the word out. We had over 113,000 entries of people trying to win that beach house vacation. And our total ad spend to get that all out into the marketplace and to sell Surfside in general with the Beach House giveaway in particular was $900,000 in advertising spend devoted to that in 2020 to 2021. So you can see that the entries continue to grow year over year as we do this. And again, a lot of impressions overall from 2020 to 2021, up to almost 600,000 campaign impressions. So lots of people seeing it, even if they didn't enter the win. They still checked it out and looked at it, which is exactly what we want them to be doing. In digital marketing, a lot of different things are marketing promotions. Surfside Beach is featured regularly on, again, those social media efforts as well as paid media. At this point, we're over 2 million social media fans, which is great to have such a big audience. And again, it gives us a lot of opportunity to vary our content and talk to them about a lot of different things. So you can see food is always popular, being outside, showing off again events, different things that are going on, and then different promos that we're doing like the Beach House giveaway. Public relations continues to be a powerhouse for us. We have a public relations firm that works year round with us. We have over 2.3 million earned media impressions. So that's again, you could never pay for all of those impressions, but and again, it's really great exposure because it's other people writing wonderful things about us. So the value of that is close to $800,000. PR firm valued that at $793,000 worth of free media exposure. We featured it again in that Beach House giveaway news release, promoting Surfside Beach as a family friendly as well as an autism friendly designated beach town. Media coverage included the Boston Globe, Family Vacationists, Family Travel Forum, Go World Travel, the Matador Network, which is a great big network that has all sorts of newspapers and blogs attached to it. National Geographic and USA Today. So some of these are some of our biggest, widest reach national publications. And you can see just a few of the headlines and clips. Where people are reading about what we are doing and why they should consider coming here. So we still do collateral. So those are our brochures. We printed a little fewer than we have in years past due to COVID. So we printed about 700,000 Visit Myrtle Beach visitor guides. We have the sort of the regular guide that goes in the racks that are out at Food Lion and Piggly Wiggly and Walmart neighborhood stores. And it's not just in the Grand Strand and in South Carolina. Those are also out in other states as well for people to pick up and take home and take a look at those. We also produce a hardcover in-room guide for all of our hotels. So again, they can feature that right on a table or desktop as people go into the room to sort of read again about what to do. We did a digital guide, so we're moving and exploring that. We thought that was important, especially due to COVID. We didn't know whether people would be out and about and actually be able to pick up the collateral piece. And so it's a digital PDF that they can click on from the website, and then they can download it to their computer. And it has all the same content that the printed piece has, but they can keep it on their desktop and go back to it. We also tried something new last year, which was really popular, and we'll most likely do it again this year in 2022, which was we did a holiday guide, as we're really trying to promote in the off season and have us be more of a 12-month vacation destination. We printed 100,000 new holiday guides that feature everything that's going on, boat parades, the parade, lights, the lights up in North Myrtle Beach, just everything that we've got going on up and down the Grand Strand. And again, visitors really enjoyed that. And I think the word is really starting to get out that we're not just for the summer anymore, that people can come here all 4 seasons and have a great time. And again, that's really important to stabilize our economy. So we're really happy to see that be a hit, and we'll be evaluating what we do for 2022. The estimated value of the Surfside Beach marketing, again, based on all the things I just sort of described to you from the website, from the email work, social media, the public relations, the paid promotions that we do, and then what we do in publications, overall generated 9.3 million impressions for Surfside Beach alone, with a worth of $1.7 million. So if we were to go out and buy that on an open market, that's what we would have theoretically paid, but of course we didn't do that. We leverage our scale and our overall media buys, and then again, create a lot of value through the public relations and the social media work that we're doing. So from an Atax overview standpoint, wanted to take you through this, give you a couple of years just so you kind of see the progression. So back in 2019, pre-COVID, total collected was $709,000. 2020, not surprisingly, that dropped down to $665,000. 2021, it's rebounded nicely, $894,797. And our forecast, based on working with a firm called Tourism Economics that we've been using to do our budgeting during the COVID era, which has been very accurate to date, is that in 2022, Surfside Beach Atax collections will be over $1 million. We will be at 1,000,004. So just an amazing trajectory. And again, the Chamber of Commerce and CBD receives 30% of that so that we can put into the marketing for Surfside Beach. And then the remaining plus 25,000 right off the top goes directly to you all here at Surfside Beach to be able to use for all of your programs and everything that you need to get accomplished. The town council needs to appropriate and go forward from there. So again, really pleased to share such good numbers and hope that that forecast will hold. From an accountability standpoint, we sent some of this to Katrina and Diana already, but we wanted you to see again that in 2021 we spent $218,657 doing all that promotion to yield $1.7 million worth of value. And where that went was some of that is in actually the creation of the ads. So developing the digital ads, the print ads, all of those kinds of things, including TV, video, the public relations, which here is listed as destination publicity. We invested $20,000, which again, I think is a great ROI because you saw it returned $793,000 worth of value. And then digital promotions is a big part of what we do now. We spent $135,000 in digital, or 62% of our total budget there. And then we spent the last 25% of our budget in traditional TV, linear TV, also known as cable TV, broadcast TV, but we also do a lot of the new TV, which is the satellite TV, the Hulus, the Netflix, the Prime, because that's where the eyeballs are now, right? That's where so many people are watching television. And so we invested just shy of $54,000 there. So those are our big buckets for marketing activity on behalf of Surfside Beach. Our proposed budget for this year for calendar and fiscal 2022, based on that ATAX projection, is to invest more. Again, we'd be investing 30% of that total amount, which would equal $293,844. And similarly to this year, we would invest again in producing some things, so creative development, another $20,000 in publicity, $155,000 in digital, $60,000 in television, and then general consumer, all the promotions that we want to do in the event work. And so that's budgeted at $43,844. So all totaled, again, the 100% investment of the ATAX budget that we would receive would be $293,844. So that's what 21 and 22 are looking like. I'm going to take a minute and just show, this is kind of mind-boggling, but we are very proud of the fact that 2021, despite all the challenges, was a really breakout year for the Grand Strand. You can see not only did we win awards that we're used to winning, like being some of America's best beaches, top 10 summer destinations. We, on TripAdvisor, we were the #1 destination in the world in terms of searches. So when people went on TripAdvisor.com, Visit Myrtle Beach was #1. That's up against everybody. So when they actually called me and told me that, I almost fell off my chair. I was like, what? So we've never had that before. Later in the summer, 3rd most popular summer destination. May, we were 3rd in domestic searches. What's really kind of interesting too, we spent a lot of time in the last 4 to 5 years really investing in spring and fall. I just mentioned to you how now we're investing in Christmas and winter. We're starting to see the same kind of results, not just summer results, but 4th most popular Labor Day weekend destination, according to TripAdvisor. 4th most popular fall destination. 7th most popular Thanksgiving week destination. If you all were here Thanksgiving week, you know it was busy. Christmas, it was busy. So the word is out now that they don't just have to come in the summer, and that's exactly what we want. We want to be stretching out our visitors across the 12 months so that they don't totally traffic jam up our entire world in June, July, and August. So again, I think part of our strategy here is really working. We're also really proud of what's going on with our work with the airport. USA Today voted it their readers voted it the best small airport in America. And again, we're starting to really see huge payoff from the new relationship with Southwest Airlines in terms of the people coming to Surfside Beach and to the Grand Strand overall, who never would have come before because it was just too far a car ride for them. But now we have people coming from Denver and Houston and Dallas and places that just really are not really a car ride away. And that's what Airlift is doing for us. It's allowing people from further away to check us out and come and see us. Here's something else that is pretty mind-boggling. This is done by CoStar Group, which is a very respected outside research firm. We're not affiliated with them. They actually did this analysis and they sent it to all the cities. But the destination, so this is Surfside as well as Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, the whole Grand Strand. We consistently broke average daily rate and occupancy records for the market. We successfully, obviously, introduced the new We Are the Beach brand this year. And we were the #1 market in the country for hotel revenue recovery coming off of 2020 into 2021. So if you look at this chart to the right for a second, you'll see everyone else is in the negative. San Francisco, almost -70%. Boston, Massachusetts, negative. Charlotte, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Nashville. On the first row, you'll see major cities like Phoenix, Fort Worth, Fort Lauderdale, all in the negative as it relates to recovering back revenue in 2021 to make up for the losses of 2020. There are only 2 destinations in the USA that had positive performance. One was Virginia Beach, Virginia, and the other one was Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And as you can see, we were the top performing in the country. So again, really, really proud of that, not just because of the work that we're doing, but just what this says about our destination and what a great product we have, and how people, again, are loving what they're seeing and the experience that they're having, and they're coming back. So to say that 2021 was a good year is an understatement. This also is another marker of that, a destination search. So I just mentioned, you'll see that Myrtle Beach here is in the blue against Virginia Beach, Daytona Beach, Panama City Beach in the green, and the one that's closest to us that's sort of a purple, running neck and neck with us is that place with the House of Mouse, Orlando. Orlando, Florida's marketing budget every year, just as an FYI, is over $100 million a year. So for us to be in the same league as Orlando, Florida is, again, unprecedented for us. I just mentioned airline travel, where we've got more than 50 nonstops again, and the payments were up 187% year over year. And MYR just sent out a press release, I believe it was yesterday, saying again that they broke and shattered all records for 2021 for the number of people coming through their airport, not just coming in, but also us going out to places that we want to go to. Now that we have these nonstops, we can get to see friends and family in other markets a lot more easily than we could just even 3 or 4 years ago, which is very helpful. So here's a peek of what we're doing in 22 to try to keep up that momentum. As I mentioned, we want to really position ourselves as a year-round destination with 60 miles of just amazing things to do, not just the beach, but everything else we have to offer. And we really are going after a high-value traveler that is going to stay multiple nights. Of course, we'll always welcome our day trippers, but that's not who we're targeting. We want people who want to stay here a week or more, and ideally want to spend all their money with us when they're here. So that is our goal. And here's some of the things we're doing. Again, we launched a new brand last year. We're going to continue to find ways with the new website to improve upon that and get this "We Belong at the Beach" messaging out to everyone. We really do believe we're in a position to lead recovery and growth, not just in 21, but again in 2022. We know that a lot of the destinations have seen the success we've had, and they're kind of gunning for us this coming year. So we need to be at the top of our game in order to compete with them. We're going to continue to enhance our partnerships with a lot of different organizations, sports groups, event marketing companies, to be able to bring more value to the destination. And then again, we've invested pretty heavily in data and research so that we can constantly be measuring what we're doing and seeing what works And if something doesn't work, we can pull the plug on it literally within a day and reinvest that money somewhere else where it's going to be more effective. So data analytics is really the way to go now in modern 2022 marketing. So these are some of the things that are really going to guide what we're going to do. These are all the markets that we plan to be in this year. As you can see, it's a long list, and we're starting to go further out west, as well as north. We continue to go to places like Boston and Buffalo. We may be getting some ice tomorrow, but they've already had a rough winter, and so they are dreaming of getting out of that and coming to the beach. Our campaign theme is going to be that people at the beach does beach better. We know how to beach. We know how to make sure that people have the very best time that they can absolutely have, and they can celebrate their best self and be who they are, and come to a place that's incredibly welcoming. That's a big part of our campaign messaging. This is just a snapshot of some of the images and some of the ads that are in development now, as we again showcase all the great things to do at the beach. And then this is our messaging calendar. If we're going to be a 12-month destination, we need to be marketing all 12 months of the year. So we don't really ever take a hiatus. We are already on with creative around that "We Belong at the Beach" message now. Also, we do a lot of air service. We meet weekly with the airport to understand what they're doing so we can be supporting their efforts. We have also started up some new international marketing this year. We believe that this is the year to reclaim Canada. So we're going to do a bigger and better Can-Am Days again. And we're really going to try to welcome those Canadian visitors to come back to the Grand Strand. And as you can see, just a really, really heavy, advertising and marketing presence throughout the year, so that we can have another strong year like 2021. So that, Mr. Chairman and committee, concludes my report.
Questions from the committee? I got a couple.
Sure.
So if you take 2020, and that's an anomaly year because of COVID, and you take 2019 at rounded $700,000 numbers in Atax collections, and your projection from your company in 2022 for Surfside is $1 million. So some of that is increased occupancy, but obviously some of that is growth in the area.
Right.
So if you relate that to Atax and hospitality tax increases in income and business, how much is that a lot of the growth coming from the company, third-party company that was giving you the numbers? Did they allocate that, quantify it?
They did not quantify that. We can go back and see if the data set is able to let them do that. They certainly know that Florida County is one of the fastest growing counties in the country. It's the fastest growing in our state. But I don't think that they have looked at that. They're looking at it primarily through a visitor prism. I think the other big reason for their forecast isn't just occupancy, it is really that ADR. It's that, and of course, we know when there's more demand, we do have that price elasticity and that ability to raise those rates. But I think it's bigger than that. As our product is improving and we're seeing new product come into the marketplace, people are placing a premium on that. And so, one of our challenges is going to be to make sure that we don't price ourselves out of the family market. We've always been known as an affordable family place for people to come, and we don't necessarily want to be charging Disney World rates. So I think that's something we're looking at, but I think that's driving a lot of that is that occupancy number, but also that ADR number right now being really strong. But I can go back to the company and see if there's a way for them to break out the data to see how much of that is coming from just the growth in our resident population.
Well, I understand the ADR, and I think that's important. I do see significant price increases, though, in all sections of the tourism industry. Question, did they do the same? Did you have the same analysis done on hospitality taxes? Do you have a percentage for that?
No, we don't have a percentage for that. They have not analyzed hospitality fees for us, just a accommodation tax.
Okay. Next question. Surfsidebeach.com. How are we funding that? Is that being funded through chamber funds, or is that coming from our 5%?
Yeah, no, surfsidebeach.com is just a part and parcel of visitmyrtlebeach.com. So it's sort of like a parent brand and then the sister brand. So it's all being paid for by the chamber as one essential website.
Are you getting any input at all from our business committee and or the staff from the town as it relates to SurfsideBeach.com?
Not as much as we would like. So that is absolutely something that we would like to do. And again, as we go into this RFP for the new website, there's going to be an opportunity to really be redesigning that. And then really, they're going to do a whole audit of all of the content that's needed for the site. And I think what we're going to hear overall is that we need more content for all sections. We're going to need it for Surfside. We're going to need it for the other areas of the Grand Strand because the need for content is just insatiable. We need more blogs, we need more videos, we need more photographs, more heads up on events. So that's something that I hope to be able to talk to Mr. Shanahan about to see if there may be a way to create some kind of liaison so that we have, constant communication about the content that we need from Surfside Beach so that it can be put into that website.
I think there's some possibilities there in staffing, and I haven't had that opportunity to talk to them about that yet either, but I think there's some opportunities with staff to open up those lines of communication between the pier, the growth in the restaurant community out on Highway 17, the C1 district here on Surfside Drive, restaurants that are there. I think there's a lot going on. For example, we've got a new dairy thing, which is, to me, fantastic. I'm not an ice cream eater, but I think it's great that we do finally have a new fast food restaurant on the Surfside, which is great. And I just like, and we've had some other mom and pops open on Highway 17. And I think it'd be good if we could help them locally. It's not so much what the chamber does typically, but we still do help in all up and down the Strand advertise local businesses so they can be successful and to capitalize on that, which brings me to my last question. On the 5%, do we have a breakout on what we actually did with our 5% this year? Have we done anything with it?
So I believe there's a big breakup that's gone to Diana in terms of being forecast how we're going to spend that. But I don't think that we have any.
We've got we have, I think, $75,000 sitting there. Yeah, we do. So my point is, I think between the new pier coming online, new restaurants are opening on 17, the businesses in the C1 district there on Surfside Drive, other new businesses in town, I think is there an opportunity to capitalize on developing ads for them on SurfsideBeach.com, but also just inside the community to help these businesses really get online. And I don't know that it goes through the business committee. I think that just clogs things up. I think that we need a liaison on staff to help develop, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the chamber will develop ads for these people with some of the money we're already sending up, as well as using this 5%.
Right.
Correct?
Yes, and that's what the other communities do. They call us and they talk about what they want to, purchase, and then we do the purchasing for them. We help create those ads, but that has not necessarily been to date what we've done with Surfside. But yeah, I'm looking at 76,626.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to have that.
And
Okay,
who is that? Okay. Well, there you go. That's
Great.
it.
great.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be out of town starting next month for about 3 months. When I get back in, maybe we can really get some communication. Well, it seems like it's something we do every year, and we talk about it, and then it gets dropped, maybe with Mr. Bloomquist, but also with the investment we've got down on the boulevard. It's more critical than ever.
well, I was hoping to spend some time with Mr. Shanahan today, but I wasn't able to do that. He's out of town. So I will be back next week presenting to the town council. And so I hope to be able to grab him and spend a little bit of time with him next week. And so hopefully we can get that conversation started, because
Well,
I would
hopefully
like you to be spending that money. And instead, it's a big year with the pier and just all the things going on. And it's like, why have it just sitting there? Use it. We absolutely encourage that. We just need communication to know where you want that directed, and again, we can do a lot of things with $76,000.
And we've actually got some other money rolling uphill, so to speak, that we could 2 for 1 that money, piggyback on that money to help advertise not only in relation to the pier, but these other businesses in town to help promote them and
Absolutely.
locally too. And the pier needs to be promoted more than just in town. It needs to be promoted obviously out of town too. It's a great, excellent opportunity for us here, especially when the town's spending $12 million plus on a pier that needs to be advertised. The last time I heard was 12, so I'm hanging with that number.
12 sounds better than 20.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So if you relate that to the council when you get a presentation too, the
Absolutely,
accommodation tax committee, they're interested in seeing some of that. being spent that way.
absolutely.
Any other questions?
Sounds great.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
not a question, as much as a remark. I go to visitmyrtlebeach.com website and check out the tweaks that you all have done on the website.
Mhm.
Very nice. You're keeping it up. It's sharp, it's crisp, and it stays upkept.
Mhm.
That's very nice. There is confusion between surfsidebeach.com and visitmyrtlebeach.com.
Right.
So when you're talking to these entities, because you understand that, Karen, you need to make that clear.
Mhm.
And thirdly, just as a remark from a citizen, the effort that Myrtle Beach and the Chamber have done with the Winter Wonderland at Myrtle Beach, I went up there this year, and that's something can really be built on. That's something we could tie into here in Surfside.
Love that. Yeah.
That was nice.
And again, it was year one, very simple. And I don't think I'm talking out of school to say that that was City Manager Simon's decision to invest their ATAX dollars in the light purchase to start Winter Wonderland. So that's how they decided to use that money, because they felt it was really important to get it going. And then we were very fortunate to be able to approach Southwest Airlines to have them come in and be the presenting sponsor of the ice skating rink, or there would not have been a rink this year. But you're right, we have plans to really expand that, to make it bigger. Again, there are already a lot of Christmas themed, great holiday things happening in North Myrtle Beach and Conway, throughout the whole Grand Strand. So we're not looking to step on anyone's toes. We want everybody to have their own unique things. But yeah, I think we would want to find ways that we can partner together on things like that, and bring that prosperity and bring those opportunities to Surfside. There's no reason why not to. And again, we hope to have Winter Wonderland for many, many years to come. But this year was kind of training wheels. Starting out, and the city of Myrtle Beach learned a lot, the chamber learned a lot, and we have already had a post analysis on it on January 3rd to say, all right, what did we like, what didn't we like, and how are we going to make it even better? So the city of Myrtle Beach already has a committee working on that here in January for next year. So
I liked your little summer, your shoulder seasons some more, real cute.
Yep.
And we had out of town guests in around Christmas, and we couldn't ice skate. Because of the weather, so which would we rather have, 80 degrees or ice skating? You came to the beach. But anyway, it was a real nice effort.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Great comments. Very good comments. I took the liberty, without asking the committee, but what I would like to do, if the committee is in agreement, is take item under A, 1 and 2, combine those together. That'd be 21, 22, approval from the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce budgets. If I hear no objections, can I hear a motion to approve both of those 21 and 22 budgets as submitted?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Do I have a second? Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
And as always, if you'd like to break down while we continue on,
Absolutely.
feel free to, and we'll see you soon. I don't think so. Okay, we'll go to the finance report. Director King, Diana?
Yeah.
I was wondering if we're about to work in the dark up here.
Yeah, you might.
I didn't know if it's power savings or what it was. I was getting ready to go to my car and get a flashlight.
No, it's not that bad. Okay, these are really tiny numbers on this little tiny page, and there's 3 of them. But just to go along with Karen's point, there's one that is 63021, which is last year's revenue and expenditure. You've noticed that we took in $850,000 is like the 5th line down, and we had only planned on 600,000. So we had no idea what last year was going to be, but it certainly came in much better than we thought it was going to be. The key of these 3 pages right now is the second page. The second and bottom number, it says at the end of last year, we ended up with $213,000 that we did not spend yet. So part of what our meeting is going to be here is to see if we can find a way to spend that $213,000 from last year. And then the final page of the 3 little number pages is this year's budget, which I had only thought we might bring in $628,000 this year, and so far we've already gotten 500. So things are much better than, I guess I'm way too conservative, but we all know that that's part of my makeup. I always want to be ahead. I don't want to be behind. So if we're already at 500 and we thought we might do 628, we're probably going to be closer to Karen's number, which would be wonderful. And that's about all I have on that. And then most of what we're going to talk about after this is buried about 4 pages back. It's a little schedule that has all of the requests, which everybody's going to get up and talk about. It says Town of Surfside Beach funding summary. It's 2 columns.
Everybody the right
Yeah,
page?
that's it.
Which
Okay,
one
right,
is
that's where we're going to be going after this. So partly what we're going to talk about is the $213,000 that we want to spend that were from last year. And there's at the very bottom of the page is where that's listed. So that's kind of out of order here. The 3 things that we were going to ask you if we could spend it on, and Kenny's going to talk about the low-speed vehicle for the police, a camera system for the police, or an updated camera. And then we wanted to give $125,000 to the pier to help with the construction of the pier, if that would be acceptable with everybody. We would still have left $30,000 in case things don't go well this year. They'd always have a little bit of a cushion, which I'm always big on. But that's what Kenny's going to talk about now. You're first, right? Is that what the agenda says? Where are we? Low-speed vehicle for the police department, which is what he wants to use for money that's left over from last year. We would spend it in this year, not next year.
Okay, and again, if it's agreeable with the committee, we will take all of these under item C together, and then we'll vote on the items in item C together, and then we'll move forward. Chief?
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and committee members. I know most of you, some of you I haven't met. I'm Kenny Hoffman. I'm Chief of Police here. I've been your police chief since 2017. So I'm here today to ask you for some funding requests because I come every year asking for it.
Bad habit here, bad habit.
I know, I apologize. I know. So I've got a couple of requests. If I understand you, Mr. Chairman, you want me to go ahead and present the request for the remaining funds and next year
Yes.
as well
Yes.
at one
Go ahead.
time to save you some time?
Yes, I think if you just go ahead and do all of yours at one time. So
Very well,
actually,
sir.
if we could do, he's not going to do, so if you could do C, 1, 2, and 3, right?
I can do C1
You
and
could-
2.
Yeah, do C, 1, and 2, and then how about D2 also while you're.
Very well.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'd be happy
That way
to.
you'll be done,
Thank you very much.
I think.
The request for the remaining fiscal year 21-22 funds that the police department's asking for, I'll break these down for you. There's 2 of them. One is to fund $20,000 for a low-speed vehicle to patrol the pier, E-District, and waterfront areas. And the other is to fund $35,000 for additional expansion of your wireless camera system that is in the waterfront area of the town. You have generously funded $15,000 in the current budget, so this would add on to that to give us a nice expansion of the system to really help us out going into the tourist season this year. So the purpose is just some notes. There has been and will continue to be an increased amount of tourist-related activity as the pier is developed and the E-District businesses continue to increase. The addition of a low-speed vehicle would allow officers to be more accessible and visible to the public and allow for more awareness of activities which might negatively impact our visitors. So what we're looking at here is a low-speed vehicle, which is similar to a golf cart. Is everybody kind of familiar with the difference between the two? Okay. One problem we have with the golf carts, we could get a golf cart much cheaper, but we can't drive it at night. And that's really when a lot of our activity is going on, that we want officers to be down there and be visible. From my perspective, I think this is an important tool for us to have for our visitors to make the officers more accessible immediately, not only for law enforcement purposes, but just for community policing and be down there and be accessible. The low-speed vehicle would allow 1 or 2 officers to be on patrol down there, visible, move around. It doesn't make much sense if there's a problem at First Avenue North on Ocean Boulevard and the officers are, say, in front of Neil and Pam's, for them to get in a patrol car and drive down there if they could get down there quickly on something like this. It also increases their ability to just be aware and hear things that are going on that they otherwise might not see or hear in a patrol car. So we think that this will be a really important tool, particularly as I envision as the pier opens, there'll be a lot of people down there. This is going to be a huge attraction for us. And as the e-district businesses continue to grow and develop, we really want to make sure that we have a good, strong public safety presence down there. Not only just during the summer months, but as we know from, and even as the presentation indicated, we're not really a summer destination anymore. We're a year-round destination. So we need a good presence down there. This low-speed vehicle would help us also to be able to expand our capabilities, with an enclosure that can roll down on it to allow some extra season use and some early season use too. As we saw in December, we had some upper 70-degree temperatures, but we don't have the capability right now to really be down there in anything to patrol those areas. So this would be really helpful for that. The second piece of that is asking for the additional money for the wireless camera system. We've been developing this camera system probably since 2012, 2013. We've made incremental additions to it. It presently has 22 cameras functioning on it. This is a wireless infrastructure, which saves a lot of money. We're beaming this all over the waterfront area into the water tower and down to the police department. And it has been so beneficial to us. We have solved crimes with these cameras. We've been able to observe things that are going on where officers might not be able to be there because it's visible in our communications office. So our dispatchers are sitting right at the radio and see various things that are going on, particularly at our beach accesses at night. If they see a car pull in there and is there for an unusual amount of time, can go ahead and get an officer on the way down there so we can address some of these circumstances before somebody else finds them or something bad happens. Just in the last year, we had a minor incident near 6th Avenue North on Ocean Boulevard where there was a fall incident down there. And the camera was able to capture what really happened down there rather than what we were told happened. It could have resulted in some significant liability for the town, but it was able to kind of show what really happened, which helped us out a lot. The system is doing really well, but it is at its maximum what the DVR can handle. It's at its maximum capacity for the cameras, and also the recording retention time is much shorter, where it used to be 30 days and it kind of cut down to 2 weeks, and now it's about a week. And we need that information a little bit longer out to monitor that in case something pops up. If you permit the police department to get this additional funding for the camera, we would be able to do a $50,000 upgrade to the system, which would allow us to upgrade that digital system to a server-based system with expandability for camera inputs that will probably more than we will need in any foreseeable future, and allow us to expand some of those camera locations. What I'm really hoping to continue to expand on is our beach accesses. These cameras have been instrumental in cutting down on golf cart thefts in our beach accesses, which negatively impact our businesses here that serve our tourists, and also is a pretty unpleasant experience if you're on vacation here and you get something stolen from you, even if you rented it. We're hoping to be able to expand that with this money if you are kind enough to allow us to do that. Okay. Any questions I can answer about that before I move on to next year's funding?
Question?
I'm happy to answer any that you have.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. For the 22-23 accommodations tax funding request, Mr. Chairman, the police department is asking for authorization to fund $200,400 for our 1.5 officers that you fund for your beach patrol during the season. Our beach-related overtime, which is used to make sure we have staffing down in that waterfront area through the summer months. We have staff some overtime details down there, and also fireworks patrol and other events that are going on down there through the season. Also our bike week security proviso expenses, which covers all of our staffing and related expenses during the May bike rallies, and your other beach patrol operating expenses such as fuel, uniforms, supplies, and maintenance of the equipment that's on the beach, which is our Kubotas and our beach truck. During the year, the police department assigned officers to work on the beachfront area. The officers assigned to beach patrol primarily focus on the beach or waterfront district, which covers your area from 17th North to Melody Lane between Dogwood Drive and the beach. For the past several years, police department has assigned officers to overtime details from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., primarily to prevent violations of and to enforce the town's ordinance on fireworks. Officers assigned beach patrol and the night beach detail require special equipment and clothing for these purposes, and they have specialized vehicles used to patrol the beach during the day and night patrol of the beach and waterfront areas. And in 2015, the governor of South Carolina authorized by means of an emergency proviso the use of these accommodations tax funding to provide for law enforcement support of safety and security measures during the May bike weeks across the Grand Strand area. And there's a breakdown in the packet there of the funding justification for the proviso. If you've seen, we rent some giant message boards and we put them at the north and south end of town. We've had really positive reviews from those, very educational, and kind of let people know you're in Surfside, just come to rest and take it easy and have fun. We're not a racetrack. And this year we're asking for $16,000 of that to install some permanent mounted speed radar signs. You probably see me quite often out and about changing out these speed radar signs that we put below the speed limit signs. We've gotten really good feedback that they have been instrumental in slowing speeds down in our residential areas. The problem we have is that we have to change batteries out constantly, pull them out, bring them in, charge them, put them out, put them out. So we're going to try to put some permanent signs in on a pole on some of these streets that are really impacted by tourist traffic coming down there. And during bike weeks, we get so many of these complaints of speeders and such. So hopefully these signs will be permanent there. They're solar charged, so they will kind of remind our visitors, particularly during bike weeks, of what our speed limits are on our residential areas and hopefully increase quality of life there. We have the per diem that we're required to provide to the state officers. The state provides us with 10 officers or 11 each year to come down and help us with our May Bike Week events. And we are expected to provide some per diem for them. And we host some meals. We have a pre-event all hands briefing where we have all of our officers, all of our state officers, everybody come together, and we sort of start our operations for the bike weeks. That takes us about 2.5 weeks to get through. We have some staffing costs and overtime costs with that, and then other expenses related to water, snacks, traffic supplies, food, and other things that we may need to get ready for that. And that accounts for the $50,000 request, the proviso portion of that. So that is the request for our standard funding. Can I answer any questions on that, Mr. Chairman of committee?
Questions from the committee?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
That permanent speed sign, is that just, it just registers your speed? There's not a camera on it or anything like that?
It's not camera. It's a great question, but it does register. It is programmable. We can monitor them, but they also do data collection.
Okay.
So we can go and we can download them and find out when our peak times were, what the effect was on the speed during those times. But they don't have cameras.
Okay.
Any other questions, sir?
I do have one. They have solar panels that you could actually charge with those? I know like on 31, you had said you're changing the batteries out a bunch.
Yes.
Is there a way to?
So yes, the ones that we have now can't be converted to that, but the ones that we're looking at will be, we'll actually install a sign or post, mount it, and then they'll be solar charged, so we won't have to charge those anymore. They also can be tapped into power too if we need to, but the solar seems to be really good. Gives you a lot of flexibility for location. What I'd like to do is sort of grow this over time to our main thoroughfares that go all the way from the highway to Ocean Boulevard. That's where we really get a lot of the speeds. I think we have 7 of those. And try to do one eastbound and one westbound on each street as we go along and try to hit the high volume streets to slow those down.
Okay, any other questions for the chief?
The last piece, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I'm sorry.
I wanted to just get this in.
Yeah.
I did speak to Chief Hoffman, out of bounds about this minute, but I did want to get it out there that low speed vehicle
Yes, sir.
Just one man suggestion, a citizen serves that. That's great. Approachable vehicle down there, especially down in the E district there, it's coming up, and approachable with police, being able to just stop and talk to them, right? A friendly feel, but make sure that LSV's got some power, is a machine,
Yes,
you
sir.
know?
Okay.
I'm not talking about an 18-mile-an-hour golf cart.
Yes, sir. I got you. I agree. We want officers, if there's an emergency, we want to be able to get there
Exactly.
and not be able to walk faster.
Get up the
Right.
street.
Yes, sir.
Get the job done.
I appreciate that input, sir, and I will make sure that the equipment we're looking at will get the job done. If I need more money, you want me to come back for
Next year.
next year? Okay. I hear Diana back there. The last piece, Mr. Chairman, is the request for $11,500 in the upcoming budget. We buy a Kubota each year now. It took us a couple of years to get this system in place. It is working great now. The Kubota is a great piece of equipment, but it doesn't matter what it is. After 2 years, it starts breaking down because of the salt air, the salt water. They're driven on the beach, so they are in the harshest environment that a piece of equipment can be. So we have got this system working really well now. If you'll allot us each year to buy one, and then one falls off, then that one falls off each year that's been through 2 seasons. We trade that vehicle in, we get a good trade value, it brings down the cost, and of course that money comes back to the Atax fund. And that is working really well. So we would ask that you fund the additional, the 1 a year Kubota for this year as well. Any questions about that piece?
Questions from the committee?
That's
Okay,
all,
then.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, we've got then under item C for fiscal year 21-22, items 1, the low-speed vehicle at 20,000. Item 2, cameras at beach access for 35,000. Then under D, funding request for 22-23, item 2, operations staff $200,400. The item B, the Kubota beach services, and I would entertain a motion to approve those as listed.
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Have a second. Further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee members.
Excellent job as always. Okay, back to Director King. Administration funds for the pier at $125,000. And then your projections for 2022, are you 22, 23? Are you going to do those? Or you have, if you would do that, that would be great.
I didn't really write up anything for the money for the pier, but we only, because we didn't understand, we didn't know how the year was going to go, we only put $25,000 towards the pier this year. So since we have money left, I'd like to put more money towards the pier to help with the reconstruction of the pier and keep it out of the debt if we can.
So exactly, well, no, I know you know exactly.
No, exactly.
Will this just go into the construction fund, or will this like reduce debt, or what will it be used for?
Well, we'll just put it into the pier fund right now, and then they'll use it for whatever comes along. And we haven't touched the debt yet. We have not touched the 4 million because we've taken money from, the state gave us money and the other funds contribute to ATAC. And this would just be a contribution that they would use that money before we have to hit the debt,
Draw down.
draw down the debt. Well, actually, we've drawn it all down. We just haven't used it yet. We had to draw it down way back.
So it's in the bank, but you haven't spent it.
Yes, ma'am, that's right. I like to watch
You and I
money.
kind of speak the same way.
I like to watch money grow.
I never used the term hit the debt, but
Yeah. no, we-
I have hit debt.
Wish we didn't have any, but we do. So, what do you do?
Good.
Okay, so that's what I want to take the $125,000 that's left from this year, still leaving us a cushion of 40 and give it to the pier fund.
And with that, and that's with the lower number that you're estimated on income, based on the lower projection
Yeah,
on
we-
distributions from the state.
And we would say this year, I think they're going to give us, I think I projected 795,000, which is high for me. But since last year, we almost got that much money. I'm right in that ballpark. I won't go too much higher.
Have you done any projections on your hospitality tax? How did it go?
Well, it's going very well at the moment, a lot more than I had anticipated there too. Plus, we get money from the county now. They send us back money,
Correct.
and we're getting a lot more than we had planned. So in the next 2 weeks, I plan on looking to see what, projecting that out, but we're doing extremely well.
And you attribute that to?
A lot more restaurants. We do have a lot more restaurants than we used to. And that's what really brings in the hospitality. It's more restaurants than the hotel. And I think that's basically what it is.
Okay, questions as it relates to this donation to the people?
Is this an appropriate time to make a motion
It is.
or bring up a motion or suggest a motion?
It is.
I'd like to do that, Mr. Chairman. This is just an idea I mentioned a while ago with the Winter Wonderland function up in Myrtle Beach. Conway has a similar thing. North Myrtle Beach has a similar thing, and these have all been highly welcomed by their communities, and people travel to see those. It is a nearby and distant tourist-related item. You're talking about some money left over, let's put it toward this or that. I would like to suggest that maybe our Keep Surfside Beach Beautiful committee people get maybe $25,000 or so to do some similar function here in Surfside. I do get around the town a lot. I walk a lot at night, and I've seen our Public Works Department put up the lights, across at Martin Field and the Christmas trees and so on. But a coordinated event, I think, could be a great step forward to a larger, a kind of a Grand Strand movement. Like you said, a first step forward in a Grand Strand movement for winter tourism related events and so on. And that committee, those people on the, I don't know them by name, but the Keep Surfside Beach, they were here last year. They made a big pitch for some money. That's a highly motivated committee, and those people do some good work. And I think they could take that idea and tie us into our other local communities and increase tourism, and might be good for our community.
Comments by the committee?
They didn't come this year.
No, I didn't. Were you thinking of that for this year coming or for the next budget?
You said you had 30,000.
I do.
You wanted to kind of,
We'd have to spend that between now and June. That's my only
You're
thing.
talking about spending it in arrears. I'm talking about looking forward.
Okay, well, this is a suggestion, and I mean, I'm not saying, we do have the events budget. What we could do is talk to the events person and see if they want to, kind of include it underneath that.
Oh, yeah.
And we can probably put some more money, they can come back and get some more money for the tourism.
Yeah, that's Mr. Bloomquist. Yes, I spoke to him. Where is he?
He's not here, he has to, he's out.
Let's do this. Let's save that till we get to the events, and then we'll bring it back up for discussion at that point in time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're back to the recommendation
For the pier?
as made by the town accountant. That would be $125,000 transferred to the pier fund. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, on to projections and Ms. King for 22-23.
Okay, well, this one would be for our Public Works Department. They have 3 things that they normally do every year with the money out of Atax. They pick up the trash at the beach every morning. They rake the beach every morning. And they do maintenance of the restrooms, which we have now completed. All of the restrooms of the pier, of the beachfront are new by Atax in the last 3 years. I think they're a big improvement over what we had. So what we would need this year for the Public Works Department is $57,550, which will do the beach raking, the trash pickup, and the maintenance of the restrooms. They don't do it all year round. This is mainly to do it in the summer season, when mainly, but we may need to expand that as time goes on, as our tourist season is not tourist season anymore, it's forever. Anyway, so that's the 57.5. It's up about $10,000 from last year because of the cost of equipment and rent wages and running the material, running the machines, et cetera. So it's a little bit higher than last year, but I believe it's a worthwhile cause.
Questions for Director King?
Diane, I live right next to 5th Avenue, Swash North. Where does that money come from, that poor man that does the bulldozing pretty much every morning, or in sleet and rain and everything? Does that come out of this particular?
How it works actually is that the general fund pays everybody, and this money just goes back into the pool to as a revenue source to the general fund. So that's how it works.
Subsidizing.
Subsidize it.
Additional
Well,
good question.
he saved our flood.
He
that's
does,
for sure.
he works
Yeah.
hard every day. Do you want me to keep going with the rest of them? Because I have events next.
I think we'll hold events because now we got something additional to events. So let's go ahead and this is a redundant request. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second. Further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, let's go to special events then.
All right, Rob did a whole write-up that you probably have in your package there. We are planning on having fireworks this 4th of July coming, in some way, shape, or form, either on the pier, on the berm, something, but he's putting $30,000 away for 4th of July celebration and $45,000 for the fireworks. And then the barbecue festival is our big event in March that is very well attended. Has a lot of biggest out-of-town people come in to see their favorite barbecue person. He wanted $11,000 for that. The Easter and the Children's Festival, he was asking for $6,500. It's kind of a combined event. And then we have $10,000 to promote all of those events and advertising. So the total for that, we're looking for the events committee is $102,500, but we certainly can see if we can up that if you'd like. If you look at the three write-ups, I don't think there's anything there that he's just explaining how he's going to break down the barbecue festival, the 4th of July, and the Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, so he's got 102.5. I'll just piggyback on what Gary was saying. It seems like the town of Surfside has kind of embraced Christmas. We've had movies in the park, and we've had everybody's taking pride in their houses and decorating, and the thing in Surfside and the thing in Myrtle Beach has taken off. I think he's got a good idea. I don't know. The Keep Surfside Beach Beautiful ladies do a good job. I don't know that as a committee, I would want to dictate to council who they want to put in charge of it. I mean, they may want to get more people involved, but I wouldn't not think it's a bad idea. And I do think there were a lot of people in town for Christmas. Now, maybe it's just because we had extraordinarily good weather, but I do think you can see by the chamber report, our seasons are broadening. Thanksgiving, based on what the chief was saying too, that season is expanding. We need to piggyback on it and probably be a great use of accommodations tax funds to see if we can't capitalize on it. And great time for these restaurants all through town and our accommodations. And if we can, however council sees fit, they may want a whole new committee. I don't know what they want to do with it, but if we add 25,000 to it, Rob can figure out, Mr. Bloomquist can figure out, that's his name, Rob. You know, Mr. Bloomquist and council can figure out how they want to administer the money, and we can figure out how we can come up with it. If we had to, we can pull it out of our $75,000. So the money will come from somewhere, but I think just how Surfside responded to Christmas, it's just another thing that we could be doing. So I'll just say I'm in favor of it, but I'll open the committee to more comments. Hearing no comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve those submitted and additionally the 25,000 for Christmas. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. I have a second. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
All right.
Beach.
Have we done everything? Oh, just beach
Beach
renourishment.
renourishment.
Which is the normal $75,000 that council has put aside by ordinance. They take $75,000 a year and we put it away for our next beach renourishment, which should be probably around 2025, 2026. We have about, I want to say 650,000. We didn't do it for 2 years when we gave that money to the pier instead, but I think it's around 650. And if we have till 2026, I think we'll have enough money by then. Also in there, we were going to put another $25,000 for the current operating year to the pier. And then things that come up that want marketing, they want brochures or anything like that, we would have money that Atax could put towards that. So that would be the last of that request.
Okay. Again, a redundant request, motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Now, motion and second. Additional comments, questions?
I just
Yes, ma'am.
Is it so much more money to do the renourishment, not in the summer season where you have pipes going up. I mean, I had a rental, I lost money because I had to give it back because of the pipes and everything was unsightly.
We're at the mercy of the state.
Okay,
We're at the mercy of the feds because that's who
Okay.
actually pays a big portion of it.
okay.
And they do a whole section at a time, which is why they did.
Well, they did a
North
lot
Separate,
better
right.
the last time than they did it the
I
time
think we're
before.
kind of at everybody else's mercy if we want it done, it's take it now or,
Right,
which
okay.
they came back, so we can't complain. Last time when we lost it all, they came back and did it the next year, so. I don't think we have much say in that.
That's a good question
It
too.
is a good question. We actually got a check in the mail 6 months ago from the state, from money from the last time that they had left over and they sent it back to us.
Right.
A nice surprise, but we put it back in the renourishment account so that we have more money than we originally thought we would.
Okay,
Okay, I think I'm set now.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'll call for a vote on that last item. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Thank you, Director King. I think that's it.
Okay, the only last one, and this one's also, the historical markers. That's the
Okay.
same 5,000 carry forward we've had because they cannot get the state to approve those historical markers.
Really?
Everybody was out with COVID and working from home and blah, 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 blah.
It's not that they don't like them, it's
Right.
just that they.
So I
they're
think he's
there.
closer than ever, having talked to the ladies from the Historical Society. So hopefully those signs will go up and that will be the end of that $5,000.
So no actions needed.
I think we're just going to, I think the action is that we're going to continue to hold that money until they come and ask for it.
But you don't need any action from us. You want us to approve it?
Just approve it. Yeah.
Okay. And again, historical markers in the $5,000 carry forward. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, on to item E2, the Champion Autism Network. Executive Director Becky Lars. Becky?
Thank you, everybody, for the continued opportunity to present and request Atax funds for our Autism Friendly Travel Initiative. As we know, COVID was kind of a killer for many, and we spent lots of our money prior to COVID in publicizing our events and our initiative. And now we have to get back to pre-COVID levels of doing that. So what we're asking for is for $15,000 to go through to help us with content generation and the time and human resources to be able to do this on a more concerted effort. Post creation and scheduling. In the cover letter, I indicate what we would like to do. And, I guess based on grant funding and other opportunities, we'll kind of determine what we're able to do. Right now, we all know that social media is, to be effective, is a time suck. And really it's time versus money. But we have a great following. We also have a great partnership with the town of Surfside Beach. And I was actually surprised that in Rob Blomquist's asked if there wasn't anything in there for the town-sponsored event of the Best of the Beach Balls Meatball Challenge. So some of those funds would go into, of course, planning and hosting that event as well. We had a great turnout this year. It does piggyback on the Myrtle Beach area Halloween Rod Run Car Show. So it's a terrific event for everybody. And our numbers, still continue to grow, much like the chamber experience. We, of course, 2020 was hard for everybody, but 2021 was wide open. And, every day we continue to have families to contact us, want to come and stay and play. And, and then our hospitality people, our locals, they come for our Easter egg hunts and our different local events and our sensory friendly firehouse visit. And then they stay and play in town, whether the weather's nice, they go to the beach, they go to the area restaurants. So we're continuing to go and grow. I'm sure there's questions because I don't feel like I did a very good job.
Questions for the committee?
the request this year is 15,000. And I'm going by, I think I looked at this, last year, the request 10,000.
I want to say, I believe that last year's request, and I should know this, probably have it here. Oh, no, it's probably what the actuals. I believe that last year the request was for 10 or 12, and that we were given 5,000 just because of the reduction in combination.
And another question too, you said you partnered too with the chamber up in Myrtle Beach, with the city of Myrtle Beach. But I did see the initials in your presentation, that DEI. So do you have an initiative going on for this DEI, diversity, inclusivity, and something?
I'm actually on the subcommittee, yeah, for
Is that right?
DEI for the chamber, and,
Okay, so this is a partnership, but
well, DEI is big. And, the last year, a lot of what we've experienced, or at least what I personally experienced, is that much of it has gone to those of African American descent and Latinos and everything. And like, I've actually considered backing off, but then leaving people with autism or other intellectual disabilities, there would be no voice for them. So like, I'm the voice. I don't, whether I'm effective or not, who knows? But there is a need for people like me to, part of that goes for me being a voice for them, a voice for Surfside. It's very important. We're actually busting at the seams out of our office space, and we're looking for, commercial space. But really committed to keeping it in Surfside, because that's where the whole initiative started. Surfside Beach was the first autism-friendly travel destination. And so there's, we're committed to that and screaming it from the rooftop.
that kind of cuts to my question, I guess, is that a community pride thing where you pushed, but the town adopted an identity with autism awareness. And I saw that, I just read this through, I didn't get real detailed about it, but I thought, are we diluting that identity? Are we going somewhere else with it?
Generally speaking, no. And so one of the things, up until July or June 30th of this year, I was helping with social media and marketing for the town of Surfside Beach. So, it was kind of like peanut butter and jelly, like I could post here, share there, but that stopped. But with, now with Rob, we really need to get that together and come up with a concerted effort of like how we're going to do that, and kind of help each other to promote these different events. And that's on my list for sure.
Let's go ahead, Mr.
Additional questions? We're going to hear all of these, by the way, again, unlike the others, or like the others. We'll hear all of these and go back and visit each one. That's agreeable. They're all budgeted. Is that correct at this point? They're in the budget. So they're in the budget at this point. Correct. They're allotted. They're allotted for. Okay. Additional questions? So last year, just so everybody knows, there was, I think it was 10,000 was asked last year, right? I think 10,000 asked for, we approved 5, and council approved 5. Correct. Okay. Any other questions?
How down was the accommodation tax from last year?
Actually, we were up last year, so if you look at.
And they still cut it?
We didn't know,
No.
yeah, we didn't know at the time. We're up about 150,000.
Oh, you thought it was going to be down?
Right.
Well, at that meeting, it was like they were,
Yeah,
really concerned. They
Yes.
didn't have
we didn't have any
any money,
left.
it seemed, and they were like really trying to,
Trust me, I get it.
yeah, right. I'm sure you do, for sure. And there's other kind of partnering opportunities we could do with the town, and trying to get more businesses involved, more businesses certified and trained to support our families. And, ideas like maybe sending stuff out with a business license, applications, or reapplications in May, or kind of, different kind of like things that we can do to promote more supportive businesses in town and support the effort.
Any additional questions?
Yeah, but, I know we had talked a lot, down the restaurant search side, but could you offer a program that comes in that trains our staff that
Absolutely.
The autism, how to work and.
Absolutely. We have actually, prior to COVID, everything was live and on site. COVID allowed us the opportunity to take those materials, and now we have online training modules. So it's affordable and accessible for everybody. And really, that's the goal, is to make it affordable and accessible, because it's about autism awareness and serving our people. And, it's now these days, it's not a question of if it'll happen, but when, like an autism meltdown or episode. So,
Actually, it's very important to have that. We are the destination.
Exactly.
For everybody, lives his life, to be knowledgeable with it, a way to.
for sure. And it's not rocket science either. It's kind of easy. It's not like ADA compliance where everything, like it's
Right.
just, it's
Be
simple.
kind.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, the next is the Surf Dreams Carolina Cup Pro-Am, Phil Jackson.
Here, unfortunately, Phil Jackson is unavailable, health and safety protocols. My name is Nicholas Lewis. This is Tom. We work for Surfing. We're a nonprofit organization. And kind of what we're asking for is $15,000 to help, kind of twofold. It's two hands kind of under the same umbrella. The first arm, so to speak, is Take Kids Surfing Day. We run these events. There's no charge for the families for the entry. Over 125 kids per event. We come down, we set up surfboards, beach gear. The kids come down, they learn the activity of surfing, keeping the beaches clean, respecting the community, respecting the police officers and authority figures. Turns out to be a great day for the family. It's more geared for people who are more underprivileged, so to speak, maybe live inland or out of the area where they don't have the opportunity or the financial means to come down and have a beach day, so to speak. So that's one of the ones. The other is the Carolina Cup and Festival. It's a 3-day event. We have it in front of the Surfside Holiday Inn down there. Gathered last year, I think we had 280 entries. This year, we're looking at projecting over 400. Of course, with both those entities, so to speak, you have the athlete, and then you have a mom, a dad, a sibling. I don't know what you guys are kind of looking for, is kind of heads in beds and butts in seats. So we figure, between all those events throughout the year, Carolina Cup, we're bringing over 1,000 athletes down to the Myrtle Beach area, Surfside area, the Grand Strand area. Good thing about surfing and surfers traveling, they try to get as close as they can to the event. So that would encapsulate them into the Surfside area. So, Tom will take any questions you guys have.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Just one, are you out of the new surf shop that's in the stripper?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so the great thing about the Carolina Cup is last year we had competitors from 9 states and 2 different countries actually came to Surfside.
Who owns that shop?
The Good Vibe Shop, how long has it been?
The White Ollie's.
Yeah, so they've been open for about, let's say, 7 months.
Right, exactly. Who owns it?
Phil Jones?
Okay, that's what I was thinking, okay.
The man we're representing.
Right, exactly. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's a great, you guys had I'm glad.
Yeah, it's a great turnout,
Yeah,
great
it
spot.
did.
And the Carolina Cup is great. Nadine and the team over there at the Holiday Inn has just been fantastic. This most recent Carolina Cup we had this year, basically sold out the hotel. We also had about, I'd say 60% occupancy at the Quality Inn. And then we're trying to partner with the Old Days Inn, which is the Surfside Oceanfront Resort, for this year to get some heads and beds there as well. Which also brought dollars not only to the hotel, the staff there that worked at the hotel, which was fantastic, but also, like Nick said, the surrounding areas. We are surfers as well. Our families, our kids compete. So when we go to different contests, we like to be centrally located where we can go eat. We can support the local surf shops. We can support the local restaurants and those different foundations that help out with those. So we're looking to do the same thing here.
The Dairy Queen.
The Dairy Queen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Love a big weekend,
Yeah.
fun to our kids.
yeah.
There you go.
That's awesome.
The last note on the Carolina Cup is projected to be the largest junior pro, which is 17 and under in entire US.
Wow.
That's what the projections are. So we're offering a huge cash purse for that, which gets the super competitive out there. And also the Take Kids Surfing Day is the beginner novice. So we, from beginning kind of to end, teaching kids about the lifestyle of the beach and respect and safety.
And the great thing we're doing this year as well with the drone is that we're going to do live webcasts, right? So basically putting it out there, we're in Surfside Beach doing live, remote, interviews with Philly. It's great, does a great job with that with a lot of the competitors, via YouTube, our social media pages, which will also bring attention to the town of Surfside.
Very good, very good.
Appreciate y'all's time.
Y'all don't work with the other surf group that has their surf off down on
Surf Runner
13th Avenue? Yeah,
Well, actually, you may be referring to the ESA, it was the Guy Daniels.
yeah.
I work with the Eastern Surfing Association,
Right.
he and Dr. Tom Chandler.
Yeah.
He's the chief of staff at Waltham. We actually run the ESA, which is the Eastern Surfing Association. We're a division of a bigger one. But yes, we work in conjunction with the Guy Daniels. We're all actually on the board for that as well.
Mhm.
But I said, it's kind of the same apples to apples, so to speak. Jacob does a great job at Eternal Wave, and we all play really nice together in the sandbox.
We like it for, when we have big competitions and we're taking surfing day, it drives revenue to all of the surf shops in the area, right? Because, we host them here in Surfside, we have some down in Garden City, we have Village, we have Eternal, we also have, obviously, there's Vibes, and then we also have Surf City and Myrtle Beach. So it's kind of a nice big span of control, where everybody gets to be a part of it, for the revenue.
Okay, great. Questions from the committee?
It says you're nonprofit, right?
Yes.
Do you charge a entrance fee for this pro-am?
There is an entry fee for the Pro-Am. There is no entry fee for the Ticket Kid Surfing Day.
Correct.
With the Pro-Am, it depends on your skill levels. Some of the entry fee may be up to $100. A basic entry fee will maybe $20 for little Johnny or Susie to get in. That's the novice, the U10, U12, U14. So there is a minimal for the novice / amateur. But of course, if you're the big boy or big girl, you want to come and play and you want to have a chance of taking home some prize, there is some entry money into that as well.
And where that goes?
That is all paid. 60 to 70% that is paid out. So wherever we take in is entry money.
To your prizes and things like that?
Further questions from the committee?
Not a question, just a remark. My kids were in ESA and they participate in Guy Daniels for years. And Guy Daniels, they're not here this, I'm sure you guys have all talked, but there is a proviso in the structure for accommodation tax that says after 5 years, you should be able to self-fund. And I think, but I'm not sure that's written, but that's the goal.
Sure.
So I just need anyone that comes, I feel like it's my duty to remind everybody of that.
He's the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Was that for a little bit of help to kind of get the roots underneath it?
Well, it changes, it changes your plan, it changes your strategy,
Absolutely. And we're all businessmen. We all have our own businesses. So hopefully that 5 years, sooner than 5 years, hopefully it's the next 3 years, where it has its own roots, some
Well, I
foundation.
think it's a great sounding idea. I think.
Yeah, the trajectory is looking that way.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your hard work too. Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you, yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, finally, the Historical Society, $1,500. Who's presenting that? Mary Beth?
Hi, how are y'all?
We're great, thank you, ma'am.
I want to thank you for allowing us to come up here and beg for money again. As you know, we take the money that you allot us, $1,500, and put it towards and have our historical day. And that's at the park, and we show how to people all about the past history of Surfside. Well, COVID has not been kind to us. One, we haven't been able to find enough people to work it. And we have people that are older and that are afraid of COVID. So putting this event on has been hard. It's been almost impossible. Now we can chance it and take the money that you gave us last year and divert that to spring. And we have talked about that. But in the meantime, we did not want to stop our mission because we take education seriously. So we did take, and you saw in your packet, we are having, as soon as the weather allows, they were already in, we have got the signage for the park, and it is paid for and back. And I'm gonna beg, because I have no pride.
But if there is any way that you would consider diverting that $1,500, if we cannot put on that, to help us with those signs, because we've had to pay for them. And that gave us a zero, pretty much, bank account. So that is in a way of getting this information out to the public. The signs look like they do at Brook Green Gardens and at Huntington State Park. They're that high. We have 4 down at the park, and I think we have 1 in another location that tells all about the old history. But next year, we're excited to say we're leaving that old stuff behind. 1700s is coming up. So now we're going to work towards the 1900s all the way up to today. It's going to be like a cron file of Surfside Beach in pictures. We'll be going back to the 1900s and all the pictures we can find, which is a little hard. But we've got many in the 50s and the 60s. It's just really kind of a fun time for Surfside. And then we're going to do a part from the 2020 on to our future. Our pier, our new E-District is huge. We need to really showcase that in the future. And how we've evolved over the time. And once you get into that, it is actually fascinating to read the minutes that said, we had 1 patrol car and 1 trash truck, and they had to at council ask if they could get a gun and bullets for the policemen. So, I mean, when you read these things over a course of time, and I've been here a long time, and Mr. Servant's been here a long time. He grew up here. He knows more about the beach probably than anybody in town. So when you see the evolution of Surfside Beach through pictures, I think it's just fascinating to see what we used to be and where we are today. There's just, you would not believe it if somebody was to tell you. Although I can remember coming to the beach in the 60s, and I was single, and we all loaded as many people in a car as we could get. And here we came to the beach for the weekend and had to hurry back so we can get to school. But those days, just looking at them brings back really fond memories. And I think that people would just enjoy it. I also think that the visitors, whenever we put on a program at the library or somewhere, sometimes it's standing room only. They really want to know about the town. So I think the residents would appreciate it. I also think that the visitors would love it as well. So in asking for the 1,500, we'd like to do the day, Heritage Day, but we'd also like to know if, for whatever reason, and we can't, that we can divert that funds to help with our newest project, and that is the Surfside Beach in pictures. And it'd be from the 1900s all the way up to 2022. But we do need some funding. I just have to tell you, we don't. We are 501c3. I want to make sure that we've disclosed, we got that taken care of, but we have to work on donations, and we have no other way of doing that. So that's our projects coming up, and I hope that you approve it. But if you need any questions, just let me know.
Questions? Okay, thank you, ma'am. As
you.
always, perfect presentation. Okay, Chair will take the liberty of going in reverse. The 1,500 is a redundant request. So let's just assume for conversation's sake, we're good with that. And let's go to the Surf Dream Carolina Cup. So we got a letter. They did book 38 rooms up there, I believe. So obviously they did some good. I did talk to Phil, and Phil said that he did support the Surf Dream, let's put it, the surf off. Gary's point's well taken that we look for these places to support themselves. It is a new surf contest. I do think that they drew some people in. I think we can consider seed money. If we do fund it, we can't fund it for long, and I don't know that we ever gave $15,000 to the other groups. I think $15,000 is on the table, in my opinion. That's not to say we couldn't give them some, but we will irritate the other group because we're not giving the other group anything. So that's the history. I'll open it for discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with what you're saying. I wondered about the ESA and Guy Daniels, because I know people involved with both those organizations. But I think it's a great idea, and if they could really bring in the high-level professional surfing athletes, it's something to build on. And it's got great community support. To take the kid surfing idea is a good inclusive idea, but I do think 15,000 is pretty strong for season.
Does the committee want to consider a 1-year funding tool for them to help them get off the ground, especially as it relates to helping underprivileged children come to the beach and surf
Yes,
with that connotation?
yes.
Is $5,000 reasonable?
But it can,
I'll go with 5. Okay, let's assume for a minute $5,000. So we got 1,500, we got 5,000. We go to the Autism Network. Last year, I've got in my notes 10,000. We approved 5. This year it's 15,000. And I think that autism is obviously something that the parents that deal with that it's a terrible thing. Becky, are you getting funding from other ATAX committees?
Myrtle Beach,
And how much are they spending?
we got 51.25 for them last year. Actually, that's 51.25.
51, $5,125. Okay. I would suggest that we, and this is just me talking, again, the $5,000 for me seems to be where it's at. But I'm open, we go to 7,500. I'm just throwing numbers out, trying to expedite so staff can get on.
I'm in agreement with Mr. Chairman with your remarks.
5,000?
Did they give you some this year?
Well, I won't find out until May. They're always a few months.
So we went 5,000 for autism, 1,500 for the historical society, 5,000 for the surf. That would leave us our 25,000 for Christmas. And we wouldn't have to worry about going into our 75,000 because I really think that 75,000 in our 5% of the chamber needs to stand tall for the promotion of the different businesses in town, as well as other things that hopefully Mr. Bloomquist is going to come up with to promote. It could be public safety. It can be anything we want to promote in this town. And we need to take advantage of it. I'll entertain a motion or discussion. I'm sorry, discussion. I'll entertain discussion for a motion.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have public comments?
Who's
Committee
still
comment.
awake?
I'm sorry.
I said, who's still awake? See you next year.
Committee comment, any committee comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, new committee members, Jeremy,